So let us read about bryophytes, and it's a part of plant kingdom. The plant kingdom part are bryophytes. Let us read about bryophytes. Now, for bryophytes, for all plants of two stages. There are two stages. First one is gametophyte and second one is sporophyte. So when gametophyte produce gametes, right? So gametophyte produce gamete through mitosis. So gametophyte produce gamete through mitosis. Gametophyte produce gametes through mitosis, and when this gamete fuses, it will form the zygote. And mitosis means there will be equitional division. Phase then the secular mitosis occurs. So let's read about butterfly. So there's two stages: gametophyte stage, sporophyte stage. So gametophyte stage, gametes produce, and when gametes fuses, it will form the zygote, and the zygote will be single cell. Obviously, it will be diploid. And when zygote do mitosis, it will form sporophyte stage, and it will produce spores, and spores will produce through meiosis. And spores will produce through meiosis, and sporophyte stage is multicellular and is diploid, and spore will do next time mitosis, and it will produce the gametophytic stage, that is and gametophytic stage it is haploid and is sporocytic. So gametophytic stage is haploid. From haploid to gamete, it will means gametophytic stage is haploid, that is gamete will produce gamete, and gamete will fuse, then will form zygote, and gamete will produce through mitosis. Yes, mitosis will fuse, gametes will fuse, and it will produce zygote, and zygote is single cell, and zygote is diploid cell. When it will produce, then zygote will again do mitosis, it will form sporophyte stage. Sporophytic stage will be multicellular, then it will be diploid stage, and this diploid sporophytic stage will produce spores, and spores will produce through meiosis. So here it will be two mitosis and one meiosis. Mitosis will form when gametophytic stage produce gametes, and another one is zygote, when zygote will produce sporophytic stage, that will form the mitosis, and meiosis will form when sporophytic stage will produce spores, that time meiosis will occur, and sporophytic stage is multicellular and it is diploid. Mitosis means there will be equitional division, so obviously the zygote is diploid. Here there is sporophyte also formed by mitosis, it will be diploid only, and then spores will form by meiosis, and next time mitosis will occur, then gametophytic stage will form. For algae, there will be no sporophytic stage. For algae, there will be no sporophytic stage, so it will form like from zygote to direct spores. From zygote, direct spores will form. So biophytes is called amphibians. Amphibians, they will be dual in nature. Why they are called amphibians? Because they can survive in soil and they need water for sexual reproduction. So for reproduction, amphibians, for reproduction, bryophytes need water and they will live in soil. So naturally they will live in soil, and for reproduction they need water. So thyroid body means not having true roots, stems or leaf. Okay, they are not having true roots, leaf or stem. They are having leaf, means they are having leaf-like structures, root-like structures, and leaf-like structures. Okay. Now bryophytes will survive, means they need damp areas, humidity, shaded areas, right? Erect means straight, and prostrate, that indicates the big size. So bryophytes are called amphibians of plant kingdom because they can survive in soil and they are dependent on water for sexual reproduction. So bryophytes are called amphibians because they need water for reproduction and they will survive in soil and they will live in soil. So amphibians means dual. Amphi means dual. Amphi means dual. Okay, dual means they will live in water and they will live in soil and they need water for sexual reproduction. They usually occur in damp, humid and shaded localities. So they usually occur in damp, humid and shaded localities. They usually occur in damp, humid and shaded localities. They play an important role in plant successions on bare rock as soil. They play an important role. They play an important role in plant succession on bare rock and soil. So lichens will produce acid on rocks and it will convert that rocks into soil, and from there bryophytes will grow. So plant body of bryophytes is more differentiated than algae. It is thallus-like. Thallus-like means they will not have any true root stem. Okay, and means they will not have the absence of true roots, leaf or stem. So they will have root-like, stem-like this. It is prostrate and erect. Prostrate and erect. It is attached to substratum by unicellular and multicellular rhizoids. Okay, the examples are unicellular are liverwort and multicellular are mosses. They lack true root, stem or root. They may possess root-like, leaf-like and stem-like. These two are similar sentences. Means this, in 5 number points written that they lack true root, stem or leaf, and 6 number points written they may possess root-like, stem-like, leaf-like structures. The main plant body of bryophyte is haploid. So the main body of the bryophyte is haploid. Haploid plant body will produce gametes. So the main plant body of bryophyte is haploid. Haploid means they are gametophyte. So gametophyte will produce gametes, and that gametes is called the gametes. So gametophyte will produce gametes. For the gametophyte, the 6 organs of bryophytes are multicellular, that is sporophyte. So sporophyte is the sex organ of bryophyte and another is multicellular. Let me write in my columns to this form. And this was written in exactly. The notes I am reading is full of inferiority only. So those who are new, please subscribe my channel. So let's read about bryophytes. So gametophytic stage is haploid and it is photosynthetic. Gametophytic stage is gametophytic stage is haploid, means N. Its ploidy will be N. Haploid means its ploidy will be N, and it is photosynthetic. Gametophytic stage is haploid. Haploid means its ploidy will be N, and it is photosynthetic. Then gametophyte will give rise to gametes, and gametes will form through mitosis. Okay, and when two gametes fuses, means when gametes fuses, it will form zygote. So zygote is single cell, and it is diploid. Diploid ploidy means 2n. So for gametophyte, its ploidy will be n because it is haploid, and for zygote, its ploidy will be 2n because it is diploid, and zygote is single cell. Now, when zygote will do mitosis, it will form sporophytic stage. Sporophytic stage is multicellular, and it's diploid. So sporophytic stage is multicellular and it's diploid, and it will and this sporophytic stage will do meiosis, and after meiosis it will form spores, and spores will again do mitosis. So when spores will do mitosis, it will form gametophytic stage. So it is a cycle, right? First one is that when the gametophytic stage will do mitosis, it will form gametes, and gametophytic stage is haploid. Its ploidy will be N, and it is photosynthetic. Gametophytic stage is haploid, then it will do mitosis, and when gametophytic stage it will after gametophytic stage it will do mitosis, and after mitosis it will produce gametes. So gametophytic stage will produce gametes, and when gametes fuses, it will produce zygote, and zygote is diploid, that is its ploidy will be N, it is single cell, then it will produce sporophytic stage, and in sporophytic stage it will be mitosis. Okay, and mitosis, and then in sporophytic stage it will do meiosis, it will produce spores, and sporophytic stage is multicellular and it is diploid. Yes. Multicellular and diploid. So only gametophytic stage is haploid and sporophytic stage is diploid. Gamete is also diploid, and sporophytic stage will do meiosis and it will produce spores, and when spores will do again mitosis, and after mitosis it will again do the gametophytic stage. So it's a circle. So for algae it's different. Algae will not undergo that sporophytic stage. So from zygote to direct spores. Okay. So bryophyte is called amphibians. Amphi means dual. Bryophyte is called amphibians. Amphi means dual. So why it is dual? It's dual because it's dual in nature because it can survive in soil as well as in water. It needs water for reproduction, for sexual reproduction. So thalloid body means thalloid and thalloid body. Thalloid means not having true roots, true leaf. Okay. Now let's read about bryophytes. So bryophytes are called amphibians of plant kingdom because they can survive in soil as well as they depend on water for sexual reproduction. Amphi means dual. So why it's termed as dual? Because it can survive in soil as well as it need water for sexual reproduction. They usually occur in damp, humid and shaded localities. So bryophytes usually occur in damp, humid and shaded localities. They play an important role in plant successions on bare rocks on soil. So leaches produce acids on rocks and it will convert that rocks into the soil. And then bryophytes will grow. Plant body of bryophytes. It is more differentiated than algae, that is, it is more complex than algae. And it is thallus-like. Thallus-like means root-like, absence of root, true root, stems or leaves. So it is more differentiated than algae and it is thallus-like. So it is prostrate and erect. Erect means straight and prostrate means large. So it is attached to the substratum by unicellular and multicellular rhizoids. So it is attached to the substratum it is attached to the substratum by unicellular and multicellular rhizoids. It is attached to the substratum by unicellular multicellular rhizoids. Unicellular example is liverwort and multicellular example is mosses. Unicellular example is liverwort. Unicellular example is liverwort, multicellular example is mosses, and they lack true roots, true stem or root. So they possess root-like, stem-like, and leaf-like structures. Main body of bryophyte is haploid, means that is the gametophytic stage. Haploid produce gametes, and hence it is termed as gametophyte. So haploid plant body produce gametes. Haploid plant body produce gametes. Hence it is called gametophyte. 6 organs of bryophytes are multicellular. Okay, that means they are sporophyte. Wait for a minute, I'm just coming. So let's read about plant kingdom. Who had done the message? Amit Chaudhary, yes, I know him. Now about plant kingdom. Let's read about plant kingdom. What is written in NCERT? Chapter 3 Plant Kingdom. In previous chapter we looked at the broad classifications of living organisms under the system proposed by Whittaker 1969. So in 1969 R.H. Whittaker has done 5 kingdom classification wherein he suggested 5 kingdom classifications, that is Monera, Protista, Fungi, Animalia and Plantae. In this chapter we will deal in details with further classifications with kingdom Plantae, popularly known as plant kingdom. We must stress here that our understandings of the plant kingdom has changed over time. The fungi and the members of Monera and Protista having cell walls have now been excluded from planting. Through earlier classification placed them in the same kingdom. So the fungi, the members of Monera and Protista having cell wall. So in earlier classification, though they are having the cell wall, that's why they are classified under planting, but it's now excluded. In present time it's now excluded. Okay, so the cyanobacteria that are also referred to as blue-green algae are not algae anymore. So that's why cyanobacteria that are also referred to as blue-green algae. So cyanobacteria is also known as blue-green algae. Now they are not in algae anymore because they are under Monera. So cyanobacteria is under kingdom Monera. In present time means R.H. Whittaker has given that cyanobacteria is under Monera. But earlier they said that though it is termed as blue-green algae, it is under algae. So in this chapter we'll describe algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms, angiosperms under plantae. Let us look at classifications within the angiosperms to understand some of the concerns that influence the classification system. What is angiosperm? Angiosperm means the flowering plants. So let us look at the classifications within angiosperm to understand some of the concerns that influence the classification system. The earliest system of classification used only gross superficial morphological characters. Morphological characters means the external characters such as habits, not habitat, it's written habit, color, number and shape of the leaves. So the gross superficial morphological characters are the habit, colors, number and shapes. They are based mainly on vegetative characters or on androecium structures given by Linnaeus. Such systems are called artificial systems. They separated the closely related species, hence they were based on few characteristics. Also, the artificial system have given equal weightage to vegetative and sexual characteristics. This is not acceptable since now to that often the visual characters are more easily affected by the environment. Against this natural classification system developed. So what is written here that they were based on mainly vegetative characters or on androecium characters. The system given by Linnaeus, such systems are called artificial system. They separated the closely related species. Since they were based on few characteristics. Also, artificial system gave equal weightage to vegetative and sexual characteristics, and this is not acceptable since we know that often the vegetative characters are more easily affected by environment. Obviously, artificial system had given the equal weightage to the vegetative and sexual reproduction. Sexual, obviously, when there will be sexual reproductions, there will be variations. So in vegetative reproductions, there is no variations, right? There is no variations. So that's why the vegetative characters are often easily affected by the environment. So vegetative characters are easily affected by the environment, but the sexual reproduction that have variation. So that's why it will not affected by the environment. Against this, natural classification system developed, which were further based on natural affinities among the organisms and consider not only the external features but also the internal features. So the natural classifications included both external and internal features like ultrastructures, anatomy, embryology, phytochemistry. Phytochemistry means plant chemistry, means it will deals with the chemicals that we found in plants, such as classifications for flowering plants that was given by George Bentham and Joseph Dalton Hooker. Okay. So natural affinity is based on natural system, based on natural affinities, and it included both external and internal features, such as classifications for flowering plants was given by George Bentham and Joseph Dalton Hooker. At present, the phylogenetic classification system based on evolution relationship. So phylogenetic means deals with the evolution. So phylogenetic classification system deals with the evolution relationship. Based on the evolution relationship between various organisms are acceptable. So obviously, obviously it's a little bit developed form, because phylogenetic phylogenetic classification system means there will be a evolution relationship. Evolution relationship means evolution. Since till now we are in the stage of evolutions only, like we have read from monkeys to humans. So evolution is the best one. So is most acceptable. So phylogenetic classification system is most acceptable. So at present, phylogenetic classification system based on evolutionary relationship between various organisms are acceptable. This assumes that organisms belonging to the same taxa have a common ancestor. So phylogenetic relationship says that it assumes an organism belonging to same taxa. In phylogenetic classification system, organisms should be from the same taxa and they should have the common ancestor. We now use information from many other sources to help resolve difficulties in classification. So we don't only use this type of classification. What are they? That is the artificial, natural and phylogenetic. We use other classifications also to resolve many issues, many difficulties. Okay. These become more important when there is no supporting evidence. Okay, so these become more important. So classifications were uh, these classifications become more important when there is no supporting fossil evidence. Okay, first one is the numerical taxonomy, which is easily carried out using computers based on observable characteristics. Numbers and codes are assigned to all characters and data that are then processed. So first in the numerical taxonomy, which is carried out, numerical taxonomy is carried out by computers and it is based on observable characters. So in the numerical taxonomy, it is based on observable characters and it is carried out by computers. The numbers and codes are assigned to all the characters and data are then processed. So first is that the numbers and codes of all the characters are assigned. Then data are then processed. In this way, each character is given equal importance. At the same time, 100 of characters can be considered. Okay. Cytotaxonomy is based on cytological information like chromosome number, structure, behavior, and chemotaxonomy that uses the chemical constituent of the plants to resolve confusions are also used by taxonomical these days. So, at first we have read about the three classifications, that is the artificial classification, natural classifications, and phylogenetic classification. And phylogenetic classification is considered as the most best classification because it deals with the evolution, and this is most acceptable. Obviously evolutions means there will be variation. Okay, now in the artificial classification, what they have said that they have given equal importance to the vegetative reproduction and the sexual reproduction, but it should not be given because vegetative reproductions can be affected by the environment easily, but when there is sexual reproductions, that means there will be variation. So when there is variations, obviously there will be means nature cannot affect that individuals. Okay, now many classifications were given. It's due to means when there is no supporting, when there is no evidence of fossils. Okay, when there is no evidence of fossils, we use this type of classifications. And what are they? The first one is the numerical classification, second one is the cytonomical classification, third one is the chemotaxonomy. So numerical classification is carried out by computers and it is based on the observable characters, and numbers and codes are assigned characters and data are then processed. First thing is that numbers and codes are assigned, then that data is processed, and with the help of these, 100 of characters can be considered and given equal importance at the same time. Okay, now the cytotaxonomy means it is based on the cytological information. What is cytological information? Cytological information examples are like chromosome numbers, structures and their behaviors. Chemotaxonomy based on the chemical constituent of the plants. Chemotaxonomy based on the chemical constituent of the plants. So let us read the first plant kingdom. So let us read about algae. Because time is short, I have to revise 3 subjects. It's 4. I have class from 7 p.m. So I have to revise everything before 7 p.m. and I have to take 30-minute rest also. So now let's read about algae. Algae is chlorophyll bearing. It is simple, it is thalloid, it is autotrophic, it is largely aquatic. And that is aquatic means fresh water plus marine water. It's live at moist stones, soils and wood. Algae is associated with fungi called lichens, and algae can live on animals also like sloth bear. We all know that sloth bear is slow that it takes time to move only. So algae grew on them. It's written that algae are chlorophyll bearing. Algae are simple, they are not complex. So algae is chlorophyll bearing, algae is simple, algae is thalloid, algae is autotrophic. Autotrophic means the organisms that make their own food with the help of the raw substances like carbon dioxide, then waters with the help of soils. Then they are largely aquatic. Aquatic means there should be fresh water. Aquatic means fresh plus marine. And they live at, but they live at moist stone, soils and wood. They live at moist stone, soils and wood. Algae associations with fungi. So when algae associate with algae fungi, it will form lichens. Yes. And when algae associate with animals, it will algae associate with animals. That means sloth bear. Means algae grow on animals, and that animal is the sloth bear. So algae shape is colonial microscopic shape filamentous. A few of the marine forms and massive plant body, that is the kelp. So what is kelp? A few of the marine form and the massive plant body, that is known as kelp. Examples of algae form the colonial shape. So those who form the colonial shape, it is volvox. Microscopic shape, that is Chlamydomonas, and filamentous, that is Eulogix and Spirogyra. Reproduction of algae are of three types: vegetative, asexual reproduction, and sexual reproduction. Vegetative reproductions are three types. By fragmentation, since fragments develop into thallus. Then sexual reproduction, zoospore. Zoospore means they are flagellated and motile. Some generation give rise to new plants. So sexual reproductions through fusions of two gametes. Sexual reproduction, that is isogamous, anisogamous, and oogamous. Isogamous means flagellated. Isogamous means they should have flagella. Second one is that they should be similar in size. That should be similar in size. Chlamydomonas. And non-flagellated, when there is no flagella, obviously they cannot move. That's why they are not motile. So similar in size. Example is Spirogyra. Fusions of two gametes and dissimilar in size. That is example is Chlamydomonas. One large motile female gamete. For oogamous, one large non-motile female gamete, smaller motile male gamete. So oogamous, female gamete, oogamous means female gamete and male gamete. And female gamete is large, means one large female gamete, and that is non-motile. Example, volvox and fucus. And male gamete is smaller and motile. Isogamous example is Chlamydomonas and Spirogyra. Anisogamous example is Chlamydomonas species, and oogamous example is volvox and fucus. Economic importance of algae. At least half of the total CO2 fixations on Earth by algae is through photosynthesis. So at least half of the total CO2 fixations on Earth is done by algae through photosynthesis. They increase the level of dissolved oxygen. Algae are primarily decomposers. So algae are primarily decomposers. So algae are primarily decomposers. They increases the level of dissolved oxygen. Which algae use as a food? Porphyra, Laminaria, sargassum. These are the examples of algae that are used as a food. 70 species are marine algae used as a food. 70 species are marine algae that are used as a food. What is hydrocolite? It produces from brown algae and red algae. It is water holding substances. Algin, that is the brown algae, and terragin is the red algae. Okay, what is agar? It is the commercial product. Agar is obtained from Gelidium and Glaciaria. Gelidium and Glaciaria are used to grow microbes in preparations of ice creams and jellies. Joy Guru, yes, Joy Guru. What is cholera? Cholera is unicellular algae. It is rich in proteins. Cholera used as a food supplement even by space travelers. So cholera used as a food supplement even by space travelers. Algae are three types: chlorophyceae. Chlorophyceae they are green algae. Phyphyceae they are brown algae, and rhodophyceae they are red algae. So chlorophyceae means they are the green algae. It is unicellular, it is color, it is filamentous green, it is grass green due to dominance of pigments, and its color is grass green is due to dominance of pigments, and is due to for chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B, and it can be discoid plate-like, reticular, cup-shaped, spiral, and ribbon shape. What is pyrenoids? One or more storage bodies. It is located in chloroplast. It contains proteins besides starch. Food storage in the food store in the form of oil droplets. It has rigid cell wall. Inner layer is cellulose and outer layer is pectose. Inner layer is cellulose and outer layer is pectose. I have to write everything in my copies, else I will forget everything. Okay. Let me see what is given. Phyphyceae, they are the brown algae, so hence here present chlorophyll A and chlorophyll C, carotenoids and xanthophyll. Example is ectocarp. Ectocarp means they are simple, branched and filamentous. Kelp means only branched. It may reach a height of 100 meters. Food stored as complex carbohydrates from a brown algae. An example of brown algae is laminaria and manifold. Vegetable cells have cellulosic wall covered by algae. Vegetative cell have cellulosic wall. Vegetative cell have a cellulosic wall covered by algae. The protoplast contain, in addition of protoplast, centrally located vacuoles and nucleus. The protoplast contain, in addition of plastids and centrally located vacuoles and nucleus. So it contains plastid, vacuoles, and nucleus. Plant bodies of the brown algae are of three types, three parts. Plant body of brown algae have three parts: hold first, strip and fount. Hold first attached to the substratum, strip attached to the stalk, and fount attached to the leaf-like photosynthetic organs. Unions of gametes may take place in waters within the oogamous species. Gametes of brown algae, pairiform, that is the pear shape. We have two lateral attached flagella. Rhodophyceae and red algae. Let's read it about rhodophyceae and red algae. It is red algae because it has red pigment is due to R5-orethrin. Majority of red pigments are marine. Greater concentrations are found in warmer areas. Great depth in oceans where relatively little penetrates. Okay, great depth in oceans where relatively little penetrates. What is red thalli? It is multicellular. It has complex body organizations. Food of red algae is Floridian starch. Floridian starch similar to amylopectins and glycogen. Examples of algae are given: green algae, brown algae, and red algae. That is, green algae examples are Chamaeromonas, Bulbous, Ulysses, Spirogyra, and Cara. Brown algae example are Ectocarpus, Dictata, Laminaria, Sargassum, Fucus, and red algae examples are Polysiphonia, Polyphyra, Glaciaria, and Julium. So there are three classes of algae. There are three types: Rhodophyceae, Phyphyceae, Rhodophyceae. 450. Let me drink water first. Artificial classification is the earliest system. It was given by Carlos Nez. It is the earliest system. Carlos Nez. So it is the artificial classification, second one is the natural system. So phylogenetic system. So artificial system, it is the earliest system and it is given by Carlos Menes. It is a natural system. Natural system is given by Bentham and Hooker and is based on natural affinities. Based on natural affinities, and it's included both external and internal features. So artificial classification is the earliest classification and is given by Carlos Menes, and natural classification okay. So natural classification is given by Bentham and Hooker and is based on natural affinities and it includes both external and external features. Most acceptable phylogenetic system. This most acceptable system is based on evolution and relationship between these organisms. So, algae is chlorophyll bearing simple color. So algae is chlorophyll bearing, simple as and it's chlorophyll and is largely aquatic, it's fresh and animal is derived nice soil, moist stone, soils and wood. There are three types of algal shape. First one is that colonial shape. Colonial shape. Second one is the microscopic shape. Third one is the filamentous. So algae is algae is having three shapes. First one is the colonial shape. Second one is the microscopic shape, and third one is the filamentous shape. Colonial shape, microscopic shape, and filamentous shape. Colonial shape, microscopic shape, and filamentous shape. The examples of colonial shape fungi are their volvox, then Chlamydomonas, volvox, Chlamydomonas, and Ulothrix and Spirogyra. Filamentous example Ulothrix and Spirogyra. Colonial shape example is volvox. You can say that I'm from West Bengal. Microscopic shape. Example is Chlamydomonas. Chlamydomonas. So, example of colonial shape is volvox. Microscopic shape will be the Chlamydomonas. Filamentous shape example is filamentous shape example is Ulothrix and Spirogyra. Ulothrix and Spirogyra. Filamentous example is Ulothrix and Spirogyra. Filamentous example is Ulothrix and Spirogyra. Filamentous example is Ulothrix and Spirogyra. Microscopic shape example is filamentous shape examples are Ulothrix and Spirogyra. No, few of the marine forms and massive plant bodies that a few of the marine forms and the massive plant bodies. Those who are new, please subscribe my channel. A few of the marine forms such as kelps form the massive plant body. A few of the marine forms such as kelp. So kelp is the marine form and it is massive plant body. Kelp is marine form, it is massive plant body. So colonial example is volvox. Colonial example is volvox. Microscopic shape is Chlamydomonas and filamentous shape is Ulothrix and Spirogyra. Colonial shape is example of colonial shape. Colonial shape is volvox. Colonial shape is volvox. Microscopic shape is Chlamydomonas and filamental shapes examples are Spirogyra and Inflox. And kelp is the massive body and it is a few of the marine forms and it's a massive forms. Reproduction of three algae are vegetative reproductions, asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. And by vegetative reproductions are two types by fragmentations and each fragment developed into thallus. And asexual reproduction means zoospore. Zoospore is flagellated mobiles on germination give rise to new plants. Sexual reproductions through the fusions of two gametes. Sexual reproductions are of three types: isogamous, anisogamous, and eugamous. So sexual reproductions of algae are three types. First one is the isogamous, second one is the anisogamous, and third one is the oogamous. So isogamous, they are flagellated and they are similar size. Isogamous means isogamous. They can be flagellated and non-flagellated. So when they are flagellated and having similar size, and that examples is Chlamydomonas. And for non-flagellated, that is the non-motile. When there will be flagella, obviously they can move. Flagella helping moving. So flagella, when isogamers have flagella and similar shape, and isogamers means gametes are of similar size. That is Chlamydomonas. And non-flagellated, that is non-motile and similar in size, that is Spirogyra. So those who are new, please subscribe my channel. So let us read about isogamous. Isogamous can be flagellated and non-flagellated. Flagellate when they are having flagella and their gametes are of similar size. Example is Chlamydomonas. And when they don't have any flagella, means they are non-motiles and their gametes are similar in size. That example is Spirogyra. For anisogamous means fusion of two gametes and that should be dissimilar in size. Example is Chlamydomonas. So hydrocolloids produces from red algae and brown algae, and algine is brown algae, carrageen is red algae. It is water holding substances. Hydrochlorides is water retaining, used as thickness and stabilization, condensation. Hydrocolloids means the water holding substances. Hydrocolloids it produces from brown algae and red algae. It produces from brown algae and red algae. It has water holding capacities. It is a water holding substances. Argine is brown algae and carrageen is red algae. Argine is brown algae and carrageen is red algae. What is agar? Is commercial product. Agar is obtained from the red algae, and then examples are Gelidium and Glaciaria. Gelidium and Glaciaria are used to grow microbes and in preparation of ice creams and jellies. What is cholera? It is unicellular algae. It is rich in chlorines. Cholera used as a food supplement even by space travelers. It is unicellular algae. It is unicellular algae. Cholera is unicellular algae. It is used as a food supplement used by the space travelers, and it is rich in chlorines. Algae are three types: chlorophyces, rhodophyces, and phyphyces. Chlorophyces means they are the green algae, phyphyces means they are the brown algae, and rhodophyces they are the red algae. So chlorophyces, phyphyces, and rhodophyces. So chlorophyces, they are unicellular, they are colonal, they are filamentous, they are green grass. It's due to chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. It can be discoid, plate-like, reticulate, scarp shape, spiral, and ribbon shape. So there are 6 shapes. It can be discoid, plate-like. So the chloroplast may be discoid. The chloroplast may be so the chloroplast shape may vary in different species, and that can be discoid, plate-like, reticulate, cup shape, spiral, ribbon shape. Discoid, plate-like, reticulate, cup shape, spiral, and ribbon shape. Food storage in the form of oil droplets is located in the chloroplast contains proteins. Besides starch, one or more storage bodies. It has one or more storage bodies, and for rhodophyces, it is a brown color. Why brown color algae form is due to chlorophyll A and C, carotene and xanthophyll. Example is ectocarpus. So ectocarpus is simple branched. And it is filamentous. And kale is branched and it is a height of 100 meters. It forms the massive plant bodies. And few of the marine forms. Stored foods as a form of carbohydrates from the brown algae. Food stored as a complex carbohydrates from a brown algae, and that is laminaria and manifold. Vegetative cells have cellulosic walls covered by argil. Vegetative cells have a cellulosic wall covered by argil. The protoplast contains, in addition of plastids, the nucleus and central located vacuoles. Plant body of the brown algae are three parts. Fold first, stripe and frond. Fold first attached to the substratum, stripe attached to the stalk, and frond attached to the leaf-like photosynthetic organs. Unions of gametes take place in water and within the oogonium. That is the Oogonus species. Gametes of the brown algae are pear-shaped. That is the pyriform. Bear 2 laterally attached flagella. Chlorophyces, they are the red algae, and red algae is red in color due to R. pyroricti. Majority of the red algae are marine. Greater concentration found in warmer areas. Greater depth in oceans where relatively little penetrates. What is red algae? It is multicellular. It has complex body organizations. Food of the red algae is a Floridian starch. Floridian starch, simple tube, amylopectins, and glycogen. Food of the red algae in the form of Floridian starch, and Floridian starch is similar to the amylopectin and glycogen. Okay, let's revise physics. Thank you. Let's revise group 16. Group 16 elements are oxygen, sulfur, selenium, and chromium. I've forgotten physics. So let me revise physics first. Then I will go with chemistry. Class 12 physics deals with electric charge and electric field. We all know that electric charge, it will, first chapter deals with the properties of electric charge and electric field, then electrostatic force. So what is property? Property means the characteristics, like suppose a rose is red in color, so it is the characters of rose, and that character is red, and red is very attractive, so it will produce one effect, that is it will attract people, that is that. So similarly in this chapter, properties of charge, here properties means the characteristics and that will lead to effects. So mass is a property and mass will lead to effect, and that effect is the gravitational force. It can be moment of inertia. The formula of gravitational force is equal to F equal to G m1 m2 by r square, and the formula of moment of inertia is I equal to m r square. So mass is a property, it will lead to effects, and its effect will be the gravitational force and moment of inertia. Gravitational force formula is F equal to G m1 m2 by r square, and force is the moment of inertia moment of inertia formula is F equal to moment of inertia formula is I equal to m r square. So when there is a property, there will be effect, and when there is no property, there will be no effect. What is mass? Mass is a property, and mass will have effect, and that effect example is gravitational force. The formula of gravitational force is F equal to G m1 m2 by r square. The formula of moment of inertia is I equal to m r square. So there is a confusing questions, like if a body has property, it will have gravitational force, and another one is that if a body has mass, it will produce gravitational force. So both the statements are correct, because instead of property, in the second statement, instead of property is given mass. So mass is a property, so both the statement is correct. So if a body has property, obviously it will have gravitational force, and if a body has mass, obviously it will have gravitational force. Mass is a property, so both the statements are same, they are correct. Mass is a quantity of matter that contains in a body. Object of a mass, object having mass, example is pen. So it's when we take a pen, it includes its ink, it includes its cap. So mass of an object is not situated at a fixed place. It is if we are taking the overall mass, right? So quantity has mass is a quantity of matter that contains in a body. So mass is a quantity of matter. So quantity has many compositions, and we know the compositions. What are the compositions? Like a pen. Example, a pen. So pen is having a white cap, and ink is also example of one composition, right? The property of an object due to which it apply or experience gravitational force is always attractive. So mass will result in gravitational force, and charge will result in electrostatic force. And mass and charge both are property, as we have read that mass and charge both are the properties, and when there is a property, it will lead to effects. So these both will lead to effect, and that effects is gravitational force, electrostatic force respectively. So there are three states of charge. First one is the charge should be at rest. Charge is moving with constant velocities, and charge is moving in accelerated motion. And the effects can be the electric field, magnetic field, and EM wave. So when the charge is at rest, it will produce electric field, and when the charge is moving with constant velocities, it will have electric field and magnetic field, and when the charge is moving in accelerated manner, it will have electric field, magnetic field, and EM wave. What is a charge? Charge is a chemical. Charge is not a chemical property. Charge is a physical property. Charge is a physical property because a physical property is not visible. Charge is not visible. That's why it's a physical property. Charge is not a chemical property. In chemical property, that anything that is visible, that is a chemical property. So charge is a physical property of matter due to which it experience or produce electric force. How a body can be charged? A body can be charged by transfer of electrons. Only electrons can be transferred, because electrons not having any strong bond. Electron is situated on the outer orbitals of an atom. That's why electron can be transferred to a body. Protons cannot be transferred because proton is situated with the neutrons, and neutrons and protons they are having heavy nuclear force. So that's why proton cannot be transferred. And proton is having a strong bond with neutron. That's why proton cannot be transferred. A body can be charged by giving some electrons and taking out some electrons. The electrons can be given. I already said the reason, because electrons is not having any strong force and is situated in the outer orbitals. There are three states of charge. First one is the charge should be at rest. Charge is moving with constant velocities. That means charge is moving slowly, and charge is moving in accelerated manner. That is, charge is moving in fast. So when the charge is at rest, it will produce electric field. When the charge is moving with constant velocity, it will produce the electric field and magnetic field. When the charge is moving in accelerated manner, it will produce electric field, magnetic fields, and EM wave. Some important point of charge. The source of a charge is electron, and charge is denoted by Q. The SI unit of charge is coulomb. The CGS unit of charge is ESU. 1 coulomb equal to 3 into 10 power 9 ESU. 1 ESU equal to 1 by 3 into 10 power minus 9 coulomb. This chapter deals with the electrostatic force also. So let us know about the unit of force. The SI unit of force is Newton. The CGS unit of force is Dyne. 1 Newton equal to 10 power 5 Dyne. 1 coulomb equal to 1 by 10 EMU. And charge of 1 electron is minus E, that is minus 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb. Charge of a proton is plus E, that is plus 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb. Charge of a proton, charge of electrons are same, because here the signs are different, and signs indicates the property, not the value. So the charge of electrons and charge of a proton is same. They are same. Charge of a proton, charge of a positron, charge of a deuterons is plus E, that is plus 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb. So we can say that charge of a positron, charge of a deuterons, and charge of a proton, they are same. Charge is made up of neutrons, and neutron charge is 0, and that indicates the neutral body. And neutral body means there should be number of electrons and number of protons are same. And if we draw the Staten formula of an atom, here X and here Z, it means the atomic number, and atomic number means the proton number, and proton number means the electron number. So A means the mass number, and mass means the proton number, that is the atomic mass. So the formula of neutron can be derived from mass number minus mass number means atomic mass minus atomic number. Okay. We can find out the net charge. For that we have to consider the electrons, protons and neutrons. Charge of electrons, protons and neutrons. Charge on 10 electron. Find the charge. Now few questions are given here. Find the charge on 10 electrons. The answer will be Q equal to minus 10 E. So that is minus 10 into 1.6 into 10 minus 19 coulomb. Charge on half electron. The charge on half electron will be 0 because it is in fraction. And when the fraction value is minimum, the charge should be 0. But when the fraction value is large, when the fraction value is large, yes, when the fraction value is large, like 6.5 into 10 power minus 6.5 into 10 power 12 or 7.5 10 power 16, then we can consider that we can what I'm saying that when the charge value is in fraction, like its power is high, like 6.5 into 10 to the power 12, 7.5 to the power, we can consider that having charge. So the charge on 6.5 into 10 to the power 12 electron equal to Q equal to minus 6.5 into 10 to the power 12 in minus 6.5 into 10 to the power 12 into 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. Charge can be positive and charge can be negative. So charge are of two types. First one is positive charge, second one is negative charge. Positive charge means there will be deficiency of electrons, and negative charge means there will be excess of electrons. So the deficiency of electrons means the mass number will decrease, and excess of electrons means the mass number will increase. When a body gets shocked, so when there is discharge of electric charge to our bodies which are accumulated due to rubbing of insulating surface, then we get electric shock. Example is opening the door of a car. We get electric shock, but we cannot realize it. Holding the iron bar of a bus after sliding from our seat, we get electric shock. What is static? Anything that doesn't move on change with time, that is static. So electrostatic deals with the study of force, electrostatic deals with the study of field, and electrostatic deals with the study of potential. Electrostatic arises from the charge, and source of charge is electrons. Charge is conservative in nature. Charge can neither be created nor be destroyed, but it can be transferred. And charge is quantized, that means it should be available in a fixed amount, and it should be integer. So Q equal to any. Q means the charge of any body, N means the integer, and E means the charge of an electron, and charge of an electron is 1.6 into 10 to the minus 19 coulomb. Here we have to take the magnitude. So can a charge of plus 8 into 10 to the minus 18 coulomb be given in a body? So if you put that value in the formula, Q equal to N, so N equal to Q by E. So N value is 50, obviously it can be transferred. So when the N value is in integer, that means that body can be charged. When the N value is in fraction, that body cannot be charged. What is a conductor? Conductor means conductor is a substance that allow the flow of electricity. So flow of electricity means there will be flow of electrons, and when there will be flow of electrons, there will be flow of charge, and when there will be flow of charge, there will be flow of current. And in conductors, there are free electrons and they are moving freely inside the conductors. So the free electrons will reside inside the conductors, and when we give the excess of charges, that is the protons or electrons, that will reside, means that will distribute on the entire surface of the conductor. The conductors having low resistance, and it will so low resistance means from the Ohm's law we get V equal to IR. I is inversely proportional to 1 by R. Resistance is low, current will flow maximum. Conductors have positive temperature coefficient, and conductors have high thermal stability. Example is copper, silver, aluminum, gold and steel. So conductors means readily flow passage of electricity, allow the electricity to pass through them easily, and are called conductors. It has electric charge or electrons. It has electric charge, that is electrons that are completely free to move inside the metals. Conductors are low resistance, thermal stability is high. When some charge is transferred through a conductor, it readily get distributed over the entire surface of the conductor. Let's an assumption. So free electrons means there will be neutral bodies. Free electrons means the charge will be zero, and in free electrons, number of electrons and number of protons they are same. Insulator is opposite of conductors, and there will be no current flow. And insulator having high resistance, and that's why electricity cannot move through it easily. Insulators having high resistance, and if some charge that is put on a insulator, it will stay at same places. It will stay at same place. Examples of insulators are glass, porcelains, plastic, nylon, wood, rubber. Nylon and plastic foam get electrified on combing on dry hair or on rubbing, but a metal article's foam does not. Suddenly my brother called me and he said that we were doing live stream and it disturbed me. So conductors is opposite of insulators and there is no current flow. Insulator having high resistance and its electricity will be high and there will be no electricity. It has no free electrons. Insulators has high resistance, and if some charge is put on an insulator, it stays at same place. Examples of insulator are glass, porcelain, plastics, nylons, wood, rubber. Nylon and plastic foam get electrified when coming on dry hair on rubbing, but a metal article's foam does not. Metal rod plus wood or plastic handle is rubbed without touching. It's a metal show charge. A metal rod held in hand and rubbed with wool will not show any sign of being charged. So when a metal rod is held in hand and rubbed with wool, it will not show any sign of charge. But when a metal rod and a wool is rubbed without touching, it will show charge. When we connect one end of the copper wire with a neutral pith ball and other end with a negative charge, there will be flow of charge. That is the negative charge, because copper is a conductor. An experiment instead of, and if you do the same experiment instead of nylons, that is the insulator, that there will be no flow of charge. And conductors, Semiconductors and insulators. Conductors means there will be low resistance, and semiconductors means there will be high resistance. The resistance is middle position. Resistance should be in middle position. Example, silicon. An insulator means there will be high resistance, and I is inversely proportional to 1 by R. What is earthing? Earthing doesn't flow the good currents. It will be abnormal currents will flow, that is leakage. So current are of three types. Current wire are of three types. Okay, so live wire, neutral wire, and earthing wire. So live wires and neutral wires take the current from the power stations, and earthing means metal plus wire, and it is buried inside the earth. It gives protection. When current value is more than 150 mA, then we will got shock. দিদি ভালো আছে তো? ভালো আছে। I'm reading since 1 hour 26 minutes. Okay, I've revised physics, biology, and let me revise chemistry, and I will take few minutes rest now.
So thank you for in live stream.